to my future wife, there is something I need you to know before anything else. I don't know where you are right now. I don't know what your day looks like, what dreams you are carrying in your heart, what challenges you have already faced, or what moments have shaped the woman you are becoming. I may not even know your name yet, but somehow the thought of you reminds me that love is worth preparing for, worth waiting for, and worth taking seriously. I don't want to speak to you as if I already know everything about our future. I don't. There are so many things about tomorrow that remain hidden from us. But I do know the kind of love I hope to give you. I want it to be honest. I want it to be patient. I want it to be strong enough to remain present when life becomes difficult and humble enough to admit when I am wrong. If one day our paths cross and we realize that we were meant to walk through life together, I want you to know that I won't take that moment lightly. I don't want our relationship to be built only on excitement, attraction, or beautiful words. Those things can be meaningful, but they are not enough to carry two people through an entire lifetime. I want what we build to have roots. I want us to have the kind of connection that becomes stronger because we have learned how to listen, forgive, communicate, and stand beside each other. I want you to know that I am not looking for someone who will simply make my life easier. I am hoping to find someone with whom I can build a meaningful life. There is a difference. Life will not always be easy. There will be days when one of us feels tired, discouraged, confused, or uncertain. There will be moments when we misunderstand each other. There will be seasons when circumstances test our patience. And when those moments come, I don't want our first instinct to be to run away from each other. I want us to remember why we chose each other in the first place. I want to become the kind of man who understands that loving someone means more than saying, "I love you." It means showing up. It means keeping promises. It means listening when you need to be heard instead of immediately trying to fix everything. It means celebrating your victories without feeling threatened by your success. It means standing beside you when you are struggling and reminding you that you don't have to carry everything alone. And I hope you will know that you never have to pretend to be someone else around me. I don't want an imaginary version of you. I want the real you, the woman with dreams, fears, strengths, weaknesses, hopes, imperfections, and stories. I want to know the things that make you laugh and the things that have made you cry. I want to understand what matters to you and what kind of future you hope to create. Maybe that is why I am speaking these words now, before I even know who you are. Because love should not begin with possession. It should begin with preparation. Before I ask you to share your life with me, I need to make sure I am becoming someone capable of sharing a life with you. So wherever you are, I hope you are becoming everything you are meant to become, and I promise that I will keep doing the same. And when the right moment finally arrives, I hope we will look back and realize that every season of waiting was preparing us for the moment we finally found each other. Maybe I don't know your name yet, but I believe there is something I can do for you before we ever meet. I can prepare my heart for the kind of love we may one day share. I don't want to spend my life simply waiting for someone to complete me. I want to use this time to become whole, responsible, patient, and capable of loving another person in a healthy and meaningful way. Because when you finally come into my life, I don't want to bring you a heart that is still controlled by yesterday. I don't want old disappointments, past mistakes, or fears from previous seasons to determine how I treat you. I know I have things to learn. I know there are parts of me that still need growth. And I believe becoming ready for love means having the courage to look honestly at yourself and say, there are things in me that need to change. I want to become better at communicating. I want to learn how to listen without preparing my response while you are speaking. I want to understand that sometimes you may not need an answer. You may simply need someone who cares enough to sit beside you and listen. I want to learn the difference between being right and being loving, because there will be moments when protecting our relationship will matter more than winning an argument. I want to become more patient, because I know that patience will be necessary. You will have difficult days, and so will I. There will be moments when our expectations don't match. There may be times when one of us misunderstands the other. I don't want to react to those moments with anger or pride. I want to learn how to pause, breathe, understand, and respond with wisdom. I also want to become more intentional with my words. Words can build someone up, but they can also leave wounds that are difficult to forget. If you become my wife one day, I want my words to remind you of your value. I want you to know that I see you, that I appreciate you, and that I don't take your presence in my life for granted. But preparing for you doesn't mean becoming perfect. I know perfection is impossible. It means becoming honest about my imperfections and taking responsibility for them. It means learning from my mistakes instead of making excuses for them. It means being willing to apologize when I hurt you and being humble enough to change when change is necessary. I want to prepare myself financially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually for the responsibilities that come with building a life together. I want to understand that marriage is not simply about having someone beside you. It is about becoming someone who can stand beside another person when life becomes difficult. And I want you to know that I am not expecting you to carry my entire world on your shoulders. You will have your own dreams. You will have your own purpose. You will need your own space, your own friendships, your own moments of rest and reflection. I want to be the person who supports those things rather than trying to control them. Maybe before we meet, you are also going through your own process of becoming. Maybe you are learning to trust again. Maybe you are discovering what you truly want from life. Maybe you are healing from things you never talk about. Whatever your journey looks like, I hope you give yourself permission to grow at your own pace. Because I don't want us to meet as two people desperately searching for someone to save us. I want us to meet as two people who have learned how to stand on their own, and who then choose to walk together. So my future wife, wherever you are, I hope you know that I am preparing. Not because I know exactly when we will meet, but because I believe that the love we build someday deserves the best version of both of us. And until that day comes, I'll keep becoming the man I hope you can one day trust with your heart. My future wife, there is something else I want you to understand about the love I hope we will share. I am not looking for perfect love because I know that perfect love does not exist between two imperfect people. I am looking for real love. The kind of love that is beautiful not because everything is always easy, but because two people decide that what they have is worth protecting, nurturing, and choosing every day. I don't want us to build our relationship around an unrealistic picture of what marriage is supposed to look like. I don't expect every morning to feel like a romantic movie. I don't expect every conversation to be effortless or every disagreement to disappear quickly. There will be ordinary days. There will be responsibilities, tired evenings, unexpected problems, and moments when life simply doesn't go according to plan. And honestly, I think those ordinary moments may become some of the most meaningful parts of our story. I want to know what it feels like to love you when everything is going well, but I also want to know how to love you when things are difficult. Anyone can celebrate with you when you are smiling. Real love asks us to remain present when the smile disappears. There may be days when you are overwhelmed and don't know how to explain what you are feeling. There may be days when I am the one struggling. On those days, I don't want us to become strangers simply because we are uncomfortable with each other's pain. I want us to learn how to say, "I'm here, we will get through this together." I want us to communicate instead of assuming. I want us to ask questions instead of creating stories in our minds. If something hurts you, I want you to feel safe enough to tell me. And if something hurts me, I want to be mature enough to express it without turning it into an attack. Because communication is not just about talking. It is about understanding. It is about listening to what someone means, not only hearing the words they say. Sometimes love means slowing down and trying to see the situation from the other person's perspective. There will probably be moments when we disagree. We may have different opinions, different habits, and different ways of approaching problems, but I never want disagreement to become disrespect. I never want us to use our words as weapons. I don't want either of us to leave a conversation feeling like we have to protect ourselves from the person who is supposed to love us. I want us to learn how to disagree while still remembering that we are on the same team. And when one of us makes a mistake, I want forgiveness to have a place in our relationship. Not the kind of forgiveness that ignores serious problems, but the kind that recognizes that people can make mistakes, take responsibility, learn, and grow. I know I will not always get everything right. There will be times when I say the wrong thing or fail to understand what you need. When that happens, I want to be humble enough to listen. I want to say, "I'm sorry," without adding excuses. I want my actions afterward to prove that the apology was sincere, and I hope you will give me that same grace. I want us to remember that real love is not measured only by grand gestures. Sometimes love is making time when you are busy. Sometimes it is remembering a small detail you mentioned weeks ago. Sometimes it is helping without being asked. Sometimes it is sitting quietly beside each other because words are unnecessary. I want our love to be found in those little moments. I want you to know that I will never expect you to be perfect for me. I want to know the real you. I want to love the woman you are, not some imaginary version I created in my mind. Your imperfections will not automatically make you less worthy of love. They will simply remind us that we are both human. So when I say I want real love, I mean I want something deeper than temporary excitement. I want a love that can survive ordinary days, difficult conversations, unexpected changes, and the seasons when emotions are not as strong as they were at the beginning. I want us to keep choosing each other when the excitement becomes familiarity, because familiarity can become something beautiful when two people continue to appreciate each other. My future wife, I don't promise you a perfect life, but I hope I can promise you a real one filled with honesty, laughter, patience, forgiveness, growth, and the love that refuses to give up simply because life becomes difficult. And if we can build that kind of love, then even our imperfect days will become part of a beautiful story. My future wife, if there is one thing I want you to feel when you are with me, it is safe. Not just physically safe, but emotionally safe. I want you to know that you can be honest with me without being afraid that I will judge you, dismiss your feelings, or use your vulnerable moments against you. I want a relationship to become a place where you can breathe, relax, and simply be yourself. I know that safety in a relationship is not created by one promise. It is built through thousands of small choices. It is built when someone keeps their word. It is built when they listen. It is built when they respect boundaries, acknowledge feelings, and remain consistent even when circumstances become difficult. That is the kind of safety I want to give you. I don't want you to feel like you have to hide your emotions from me. If you are having a difficult day, I want you to be able to tell me. If something is bothering you, I want you to know that your feelings deserve to be heard. If you are excited about something, I want to celebrate with you. If you are afraid, I want to remind you that you don't have to face everything alone. And I want to understand that sometimes you may not need me to solve the problem. Sometimes you may simply need someone to sit beside you and say, I'm here. I want to learn how to recognize those moments. I want you to feel respected in our relationship. Your opinions should matter. Your dreams should matter. Your voice should matter. I don't want love to become control. I don't want to tell you who you should be, what you should dream about, or how you should live your life. I want to know you deeply enough to understand what makes you feel alive and then encourage you to become the person you were created to become. I want to protect your peace, not disturb it. That doesn't mean we will never disagree. We will. But even when we disagree, I want you to know that my respect for you will not disappear. I don't want anger to become an excuse for cruelty. I don't want raised voices to become normal. I don't want silence to become punishment. I want us to learn healthier ways of dealing with difficult moments because our relationship should never become a battlefield. If I ever hurt you, I want you to feel safe enough to tell me. And if you tell me, I want to listen instead of becoming defensive. I want to understand the impact of my actions, even if hurting you was never my intention. Intentions matter, but so does the way our actions affect the person we love. I also want you to know that you won't have to earn my respect by being perfect. You won't have to look perfect every morning. You won't have to hide your insecurities. You won't have to pretend that you always know what you're doing. You won't have to perform for my love. I want to know the woman behind the smile. I want to know the stories that shaped you, the lessons you learned, the things you hope to accomplish, and even the parts of your past that you wish had been different. I don't expect you to reveal everything immediately. Trust takes time, and I want to respect that. If we are meant to build a life together, I want trust to grow naturally. I want you to see through my actions that I am dependable. I want my consistency to speak louder than my promises. Because love should feel like partnership. It should feel like knowing that there is someone beside you who genuinely wants your well-being. Someone who will celebrate your victories without jealousy, encourage you when you doubt yourself, and remind you of your strength when you temporarily forget it. And I want the same from you. I want to feel safe being vulnerable with you too. I want us both to have permission to be human. I want our home to be a place where neither of us has to pretend. My future wife, when the day finally comes that we stand together and call each other husband and wife, I hope you can look into my eyes and know that you are not alone. I hope you know that you have a partner, a friend, and someone who genuinely wants to build a peaceful life with you. I cannot promise that life will never hurt us, but I can promise that I will keep learning how to love you in a way that brings more peace than fear, more understanding than judgment, and more security than uncertainty. And when you finally find your way into my life, I hope my love becomes a place where your heart can finally rest. My future wife, when I imagine the life we may one day build together, I don't imagine a life where everything is always perfect. I imagine something much more meaningful. I imagine two people who continue choosing each other through every season, because I believe the strongest kind of love is not the love that only survives the beautiful moments. It is the love that remains when life becomes complicated, when circumstances change, and when the road ahead looks different from what we expected. There will be seasons when we celebrate together. There will be moments when we achieve goals we once thought were impossible. There will be birthdays, anniversaries, unexpected surprises, laughter, trips, quiet evenings, and memories that we will talk about years later. I want to enjoy every one of those moments with you. I want to celebrate your victories as if they were my own, because when we become partners, your happiness should matter to me deeply. But I also know that life will bring difficult seasons. There may be financial pressure, disappointment, family challenges, uncertainty, or moments when one of us feels completely exhausted. There may be days when we don't know what the next step should be. And during those seasons, I don't want our love to become conditional. I don't want to love you only when everything is easy. I want to choose you when you're tired. I want to choose you when you're frustrated. I want to choose you when you need time to process something. I want to choose you when we disagree. And I hope you will choose me when I am struggling too. Because marriage, to me, is not simply a promise made during the happiest moment of our lives. It is a commitment to keep showing up after the celebration is over. There will be mornings when we wake up and life feels ordinary. There may be responsibilities waiting for us, work to complete, problems to solve, and things that need our attention. But even in those ordinary moments, I want us to remember that what we have is extraordinary. I want to keep dating you even after we are married. I want to keep learning about you even after years have passed. I don't want familiarity to make me careless with your heart. I want to notice the little things. I want to remember what makes you smile. I want to know when you need encouragement and when you simply need quiet. And when we have disagreements, I want to remember that you are not my enemy. You are the person I chose to walk through life with. The goal should never be to defeat you. The goal should be to understand each other and find a way forward together. There may be moments when I have to apologize. There may be moments when you have to apologize. I hope we can both be humble enough to put our pride aside when necessary. Pride can create distance, but humility can open a door back toward one another. I want us to learn that choosing each other doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means facing them together. If something is broken, we don't simply pretend it isn't there. We talk about it, we work on it, we seek wisdom. We give each other room to grow. And if one of us changes over the years, I want us to keep discovering who we are becoming. People grow. Dreams change. Circumstances change. Life changes. I don't want us to become so attached to who we were that we fail to appreciate who we are becoming. I want to grow with you. I want to be there when you accomplish something you have worked toward for years. I want to be there when you are uncertain about your next step. I want to hold your hand when you are afraid and laugh with you when life gives us reasons to celebrate. I want us to become the kind of couple who can look back after many years and say, we went through a lot, but we never stopped choosing each other. That is the promise I hope to make. Not that I will always know what to do, not that I will never make mistakes, and not that every season will be easy, but that I will keep showing up with honesty, patience, and commitment. My future wife, when life gives us beautiful days, I will celebrate them with you. When life gives us difficult days, I will stand beside you. When we don't have the answers, we will search for them together. And through every season, I hope we will remember that love is not just something we feel, it is something we choose, again and again. My future wife, if there is one final thing I want you to know, it is this. Until we meet, I am going to keep becoming the man I hope you can one day trust with your heart. I don't know exactly when our paths will cross. I don't know what circumstances will bring us together, or what moment will become the beginning of our story. But I know that I don't want to waste the time before that day. I want to use it to grow. I want to become a better man, not simply because I want to impress you, but because I believe the person I become will shape the kind of life we are able to build together. I want to work on my character when nobody is watching. I want to become more patient, more responsible, more understanding, and more intentional. I want my actions to eventually speak louder than any beautiful promise I could make to you. I know that I will not become perfect. I don't expect that from myself, and I will never expect it from you. But I can keep growing. I can keep learning from my mistakes. I can become more honest about my weaknesses and more determined to improve the things I can change. Maybe you are doing the same thing right now. Maybe somewhere in your own life, you are learning lessons that will prepare you for our future. Maybe you are becoming stronger after difficult experiences. Maybe you are discovering what you truly value. Maybe you are learning how to recognize healthy love and how to protect your peace. I hope you don't rush the process. I hope you allow yourself to become who you are meant to be. And I hope you understand that I am not asking you to wait for me in a way that stops you from living your life. Live, grow, dream, laugh, learn, build your future, become everything you are capable of becoming. Because when we finally meet, I don't want either of us to feel like we gave up our lives just to find each other. I want us to meet as two people who have been living, growing, and preparing, and then discover that our paths can beautifully come together. I want to be the kind of husband who doesn't simply love you when you are easy to understand. I want to love you when you are complicated, emotional, tired, uncertain, or overwhelmed. I want to learn the language of your heart. I want to know when you need encouragement and when you need space. I want to understand that loving you means continuing to learn about you because you will keep growing, just as I will. And I want you to be able to look at me years from now and still recognize the man you trusted in the beginning, while also seeing that I have grown into an even better version of myself. I want to build a future where we encourage each other's dreams instead of competing with them. I want your success to make me proud. I want my success to become something we celebrate together. I want us to understand that we are not rivals. We are partners. There will be moments when I need your strength, just as there will be moments when you need mine. I hope we can give each other that strength without making either person feel weak for needing support. And above everything else, I want our future to be built on something deeper than temporary emotions. Feelings are important, but commitment gives love direction. I want us to have values that guide us when emotions become confusing. I want us to remember why we chose each other when circumstances become difficult. Maybe one day we will sit together and talk about the season before we knew each other. Maybe we will laugh about how much we wondered when we would meet. Maybe we will look back at all the things we experienced separately and realize that they were shaping us for the life we eventually shared. I don't know what that day will look like, but I can hope for it. I can prepare for it. I can prepare for it. And I can keep becoming someone worthy of the trust, respect, and love that marriage requires. So, my future wife, wherever you are right now, don't be afraid of the waiting. Don't believe that being alone for a season means you have been forgotten. Sometimes life is preparing us in ways we cannot yet understand. Sometimes the delay is part of the preparation. And while I wait for whatever future is meant for me, I will keep working on myself. I will keep learning. I will keep growing. I will keep becoming more patient, more loving, more responsible, and more faithful to the values I want to bring into our future. Then, whenever our paths finally cross, I hope I can look at you and say with confidence that I didn't spend the waiting period doing nothing. I spent it becoming ready. Until that day, live your life, protect your heart, follow your dreams, and keep becoming the woman you are meant to be. Because somewhere ahead of us may be the beautiful moment when two separate journeys finally become one.